Welcome to Learning with Reese, the video tutorial series that's teaching you how to code in Python. So far in our programs, we've been going and working with variables. So an example of a variable could be, I'm going to go and declare a variable right here, and I'll go and I'll call it name, and I'm going to say that my name is Cookie Monster. And we know that we can go and print that name. So I print my variable name, and I run it, and down here it says Cookie Monster. And maybe I could have gone and put a little bit of an extra message in here. Welcome. And now it'd say, welcome Cookie Monster. So we've done that. We've looked at variables. Variables allow us to go and hold a single item. So if maybe I wanted to say how many cookies Cookie Monster ate, I could say 4. And here I can go, welcome Cookie Monster. I heard that you ate a total of cookies. And I run it, and here I'm using 2 variables. Welcome Cookie Monster, I heard that you ate a total of 4 cookies, so it shows our variable there. So that's working with variables, which is great. But sometimes we want to go and hold multiple items of the same type. So maybe a list of all of our favorite Sesame Street characters, or something else along those lines. So we can do that, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make a program that has us working with lists. So I'll put a comment here. This program will introduce us to working with lists. So a list allows us to go and hold multiple items under a single name. So it's kind of like a variable, but instead of holding one item, we can hold multiple items. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go and declare a list. So I'm going to go and call this list I'll go and call it characters. And in here, I'm going to go and declare different Sesame Street characters. So first thing I do is I open up square brackets. And now I'm going to be holding text or a string, so it has to go inside quotation marks. So the first one I'm going to put in is Cookie Monster. Then I separate it with a comma. I'll put in the next one, I'm going to put in Bert and Ernie. They always go together. You never see one without the other. And lastly, I'm going to go and put in Big Bird. So now I have 3 different characters. So I'm going to go and display my characters now. I'm going to display all the characters that I have in my list. Display Sesame Street characters. So to do that, I go print. But now instead of printing off an individual one, I just print off my list that I called characters. I run it, and I'm going to see in here that it shows me Cookie Monster, Bert and Ernie, and Big Bird. Now, it also happens to have these single apostrophes around it and the square brackets. I don't really like that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and add an extra character here. I'm going to do Shift 8. I'm going to put in the little asterisks. And now when I run it, it will go and show Cookie Monster, Bert and Ernie, Big Bird. It shows all my characters without those extra bits of information around them. Now, that's great. What if I realized I forgot Oscar the Grouch, and I want to add Oscar the Grouch to my list? Well, I can do that. Add a character to our list. I'm going to go and do that. So I want to go and add to my list called characters. Dot, and now I want to append or add something to it. I need to put in Oscar the Grouch. Great. Now I'll go and I'll display it again. Print characters. I run it, And now I can see before I added, I had Cookie Monster, Bird and Ernie, and Big Bird. Then afterwards, I also have Oscar the Grouch. Perfect. Let's go and add another character. So I'm going to do it up here. Character dot append. And I'm going to go and add in Bugs Bunny. I run it. Then you're going, wait a minute, Mr. Reese. Bugs Bunny, he's not on the Muppets. We shouldn't have that there. And I go, oh, you're right. We want to go and get rid of that character. So we are going to go and look at deleting an item from our list. Now we can do this a couple of ways. First off, I can type in the name of it, and then I can go and just do the word pop. And what this does is this will go and remove the last character that we had. So, I now will print star characters. I'll run it again, but it's starting to get a little congested here, so I'm going to put in an extra print line just to space stuff out a bit. So we can see that I had Cookie Monster, Bird and Ernie, Big Bird, Oscar the Grouch, and Bugs Bunny. I hit pop, and Bugs Bunny is gone. So we're able to go and remove our last character. What about, though, if I wanted to go and get rid of Bird and Ernie? Well, I could do that too. I could do it one of a couple of ways. First off, I could do characters dot remove. I could also do it with dot pop, so we'll do it that way for now. And I want to get rid of Bert and Ernie. I could type in Bert and Ernie. And then I'll print it off. And I'll run this, and I'm going to get told something here. So I'll put up, and it tells me Oscar the Grouch, trace back, says characters Bert and Ernie, object cannot be interpreted as an integer. Well, it's telling me that because I'm saying that I have a string, it cannot be interpreted as an integer. So I can't use the word pop here. If I want to actually put in text, I have to use the word remove. Do it again. But now I get a different error. And it says, Bert and Ernie, it's trying to remove it, but that's not on my list. And I look back at my list and I see that Bert and Ernie, oh, I used the ampersand. So what this means is you have to type it in exactly correct to remove it by text. So if I do this and I run, it will work. It removes Bert and Ernie. But if I did Bert and Ernie and I did Ernie with a lowercase and I run, once again, it can't find it because it's not typed in exactly the same way. So you can get rid of it this way. I'm going to go and put something back in. I'm going to go and add some more characters. So characters dot append, and I'm going to go and try to think of, I have no clue how to spell Mr. Snuffleupagus, so I won't put him in there, but I'm going to go and add in Elmo. I'm going to add in my personal favorite, which is Count Von Count. And characters dot append the lovely cuddable Grover. Someone who loves to cuddle with everyone. So I'll run it. I will display it. Star characters. I run it. So we've gone through. We removed Ernie and Bert. We removed Bugs Bunny. Now we have it here with all these characters. And I want to go and remove Cookie Monster. I want to get him out of there. I can do that. I could go and remove how I did before with Bert and Ernie. But instead, I want to go and remove my first character. So remove first item in our list. To do that, I'm going to do the following. I'm going to once again type in characters. Characters dot pop, and in this time, instead of leaving it empty, I'm going to put in for the first position, and the first position is position 0. Watch what happens if I type in 1. I'll print it out afterwards. If I try to remove 1, which we would normally think to be Cookie Monster, we realize it got rid of Big Bird. This is position 1. This position is position 0. So if I run it now with 0 there, we got rid of Cookie Monster. Great. So we now know how to add a character. We use append and it just adds it to the end. We can go and remove it one of 3 ways. Here, character.pop just removes the last spot. We do characters.remove, which will remove an actual character, but only if you type it in exactly the correct way. Or we can go and remove a character using .pop and then put in a number here for which position we want to remove it from. Now before we end this video, I want to show you a couple more things when you're printing your output. So right now we always have them all together, but we know that they are, so say right here it's Cookie Monster, Bert and Ernie, Big Bird, Oscar the Grouch, Bugs Bunny. So it's 5 different items. I want to separate them. So if I want to separate when I am printing them out, so that would be separating after I've added Oscar the Grouch and Bugs Bunny. What I can do is I can go print with the star characters, and then I do comma, the letters SEP for separate, equals, and now I can choose what do I want to separate it with. I want to separate it with a comma and a space. I run it. Now we'll see what it does is it inserts a space and a comma, or a comma and a space, after each item. So it makes it much easier to read. I could also go and do it a little bit different. So here, after I've removed Bert and Ernie, I want to go and list them, and I'm going to list 1 element per line. So after dot characters, I type in comma, SEP for separate, equals, and now I do /n, and what that does is it goes and inserts a new line. I run it, and we can see here it's doing Cookie Monster, Big Bird, Oscar the Grouch. Put each item onto a new line. So that's going to be 2 ways to change how we're outputting it. There's some other ways as well we could do it, but those involve something called a loop, and we haven't looked at those yet. We'll be looking at those in one of our future videos, and that way we can number each item as we're going through as well. But we don't know that yet. So that's where I'm going to leave it today. So we can go and display items all on the same line. We could separate them out using commas, or we could go and even output them onto different lines. There's actually, I realized one more thing I wanted to show you. For adding items. So when I'm going down here and I was adding in Elmo, Count Von Count, and Grover, I wanted to have my favorite character show up at the beginning. Count Von Count, I wanted to have right at the very beginning. To do that, I'm not going to use append. Append always adds it to the end. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use insert. What insert does is it allows us to say where in the list we want to put the item. If I want to put it at the very beginning, it is at spot 0. So 0, comma, Count Von Count. I run it, and I'm going to see that Count Von Count shows at the very beginning. And then I went and removed them from my list because I removed position 0. So you know what? I don't want to put them in the very first spot. I want to put them right after Cookie Monster. So in that case, I put it in spot 1. I run it. I can see Count Von Count is right there. Then I get rid of Cookie Monster. and he moves into the first spot. So we can go and add characters at the end using append. We can go in and use .insert and put it wherever we want. For removing characters, we looked at 3 different ways to remove characters. So this gives you a great introduction to working with lists. I will see you in our next video. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.